Hello everyone, welcome to Messy Church. It's our first Messy Church of 2021, so it's lovely for you to be joining us today. Oh, I hope you're all well and you're all having a nice time. I know we're all stuck at home a little bit, but I hope you're all finding lots of fun things to do. Now, I've got a special bear with me today. I hope you can see him. He's called Coco the bear, and unfortunately he fell out of his bed this morning and he broke his arm. So I had to do a bit of bandaging of it to make him feel a bit better. Poor Coco. So shall we welcome the rest of the Messy Church team? And I heard they've all got friends with them today. So shall we find out who they all are?
Hello, this is Edward Bear, and he fell off the garden step.
Oh dear, Edward Bear's had trouble today as well. Hi Kate, oh my gosh, you've got somebody in who's a bit poorly as well.
No, this is Mark Bear. He was cycling to school and he fell off his bike and he bashed his head and his arm.
Oh no, poor Mark.
No.
Hi Liz. Oh no.
I know, this is Rudolph, and he's broken his antler. Honestly, galloping so fast, he bashed into a tree and broke his antler. So I've had to bandage him up.
Oh, poor Rudolph.
Hello.
Hi Naomi.
This is Ted. He was having so much fun doing rough and tumble on the floor, he bashed his head.
Oh, all these bears. Oh dear.
Hello everybody, this is Wrinkles. And Wrinkles had a fall too. He fell out of a tree. And as you can see, he's got lots of scratches on his feet and his left arm. But he actually bumped his head as well.
Oh dear, what a shame. Well, I'm glad they've all been looked after very well and all been bandaged up. That's very good. So I wonder if you're all wondering why on earth we're all here today with our bears that have been in trouble. Well, you'll find out a little bit later. You could always perhaps write something on Facebook if you wanted to and have a little guess. Oh, but before we start our session together, Kate's going to say a little prayer for us all.
Okay, shall we pray? Now, I know you've hurt your arm, but if you just put your hands, your paws like, we can pray together. Okay. Dear God, thank you so much for our time today at Messy Church. Please help us to listen and enjoy what we are about to find out from your special book called the Bible. Amen.
Amen. Oh, thank you, Kate and Mark. Oh, there's Mark, bless him, giving a little wave. Oh, well, it's because in today's session, we're thinking about the story of the Good Samaritan. And that's where a man is injured. And so all of us on the team have been practicing caring and being good neighbours and good friends to our bears by looking after them and making them feel better. So you've guessed it, today's session is all about loving our neighbour. And I've got a little picture here. It says, love your neighbour. Now, we've all got neighbours, those people who live next door to us. But when we talk about loving our neighbour, we don't just mean the people next door over the fence that we might give a little wave to occasionally, but we mean people all around us, everywhere. Now, it's really easy to love our friends, isn't it? I love chatting to my friends and giggling away with them. But it's harder to be kind and loving to people who aren't our friends. Maybe the boy in the playground who's always a bit mean to us, or the girl who always sits and looks a bit cross. But more often than not, it's actually those people who could actually do with a friend and somebody to be extra kind to them. So in a minute, we're going to listen to a little story that Liz is going to tell us. And it's a story that Jesus told from a book called the Bible, which is the Christian special book. Now, Jesus often told stories to teach us things, and these stories are called parables. Now, this particular story starts with an expert in the law called a Pharisee. And Pharisees were very, very clever people. And they spent loads of time studying the rules of how to be a good Jew. That was the religion that people followed at the time. So this Pharisee asked Jesus how he could get to heaven. But secretly, he thought he was doing enough anyway by following all of those rules that Jewish people followed. However, Jesus wanted him to see that following the rules was important, but that being a kind and loving person was actually more important. So Jesus told the parable. And in this parable, you're going to meet 5 different characters. The first character is an injured man. There he is, looking very poorly on the side of the road. Oh dear. You're also going to meet some mean robbers. Oh dear. They're not very kind, those people. Then you're going to meet a priest. And this was a man who worked in the synagogue. And that's like the Jewish equivalent of a church. So a very, very holy, special man. And also a Levite, who was somebody who worked for the priests. And our Samaritan man. And Samaritans were people who actually at the time the Jews didn't like very much. They didn't get on very well, the Samaritans and the Jews, because they were from a different area. But over to you now, Liz, to tell us the story.
Hello, everybody, and thank you, Katie. Now, I've got some pictures to show you, so I'm going to move the pictures into the screen in a minute as when I start the story. But as Katie said, a parable is a story that's got a message for us, and Jesus told these sorts of stories a lot so that people could understand what he was saying. There are lots of parables in the Bible, so if you want to hear more, then get mum or dad to read some more to you. And as Katie said again, the parable starts with a man asking a question. And this man was really smart and very clever. And we're not sure whether he was trying to trick Jesus or whatever. But he said to Jesus, now, what should I do so I can go to heaven and live forever? And Jesus replied, well, what's written in the Bible? And as Katie said, that's a special Christian book. What do you think? What do we need to do to get to heaven? The man said to Jesus, well, you've got to love God with all your heart and all your soul and all your strength, and love your neighbour as yourself. And who did Katie say our neighbour was? That's right, said Jesus. Do this and you'll live forever in heaven. But the man wanted to know more. And he said to Jesus, well, who is my neighbour? Jesus decided to answer this question with one of the parables so that everybody could understand. And he said, so I'm just going to move my laptop, so I'm going to disappear. He said, there was once a man walking along the road, coming from Jerusalem and heading to Jericho. So it was a good long walk that he had to do, about 2 days. The road was rocky and there were small hills around. And the man was just humming into himself and enjoying the nice day, having a good walk. And suddenly a group of men jumped out from behind the hill. Can you see them? They'd come from behind the hill, and you'll never guess what they did. Well, they were robbers and they weren't very nice. And they took all his belongings and tore off some of his clothes, and they beat him up really badly. Bish bash, and they left him bleeding on the side of the road. Can you see? It's hurt his head, and I think he's cut his hands. What a mess. And they beat his legs, so they left him in a real mess. A few minutes later, a priest came by. I'm just going to swap my pictures about. Move that one away. A priest came by, walking down the same path. And he noticed the man lying on the side of the road. Can you see him there? Do you know what he did? You'd think he'd run over and help, wouldn't you, and help the man. Do you know what he did, though? Instead, he crossed the road and walked on the other side and acted like he'd never seen him. That wasn't very nice, was it? So the poor man had to lie there for another hour. And then another man called a Levite who helped the priests, he came walking past as well, and he saw the man lying in the road. And do you know what he did? Well, you'd think he'd probably go and help the man, wouldn't you? But do you know, well, he slowed down a little bit, walked over, had a little look, and then walked off again without even helping him. That wasn't very nice, was it? Mind the pictures as they go. You might think that the man lying in the road looked like he was resting or something, but he didn't. He was actually really badly hurt. and he was bruised and he was having trouble breathing. Anyway, just a few minutes later, another man came walking along, and he was a Samaritan. And as Katie said, the Jews didn't really like the Samaritans. So one thing that you didn't think he would do was to stop. You didn't think he'd do that, did you? But he did actually stop. And he went over to the man. He felt very sorry for him. And he put bandages on his sores. Can you see he's put a bandage on his head? And I think he put some oil and wine on some of the other grazes and cuts. And oil and wine were very expensive. So he was really looking after the man who was so badly injured. And then he lifted him onto his own donkey and took him to an inn and asked the innkeeper to take care of him. And so the next day, he took out some money so that there was enough money for the man to stay at the inn until the Samaritan came back. And he said he would pay any extra cost. So that's the story. And after Jesus had finished the story, he said to the people who were listening, now, which of these three men do you think was a neighbour to the man who'd been left beaten by the side of the road? And the man who asked him the question right at the beginning of the story, he said, well, it's the one who showed him mercy and looked after him. And Jesus said, that's right. Now you go and do the same. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Bye.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Liz. That's such a great story. I loved all those pictures. So were you surprised when the priest didn't help the injured man? Especially when he was thought to be somebody who was very holy and knew lots about God, so we assumed he'd be a really good person. And what about the Levi who worked for the priest? I'm surprised he didn't help either. But in those days, one of the rules was that if a priest or a Levi touched somebody who was injured or possibly dead, they would have been considered unclean. They would have been dirty, unclean. So they wouldn't have been able to go and do their duties of preaching and telling people all about God. But the thing was that Jesus thought that some of these rules were a little bit of nonsense, really. He thought it was far more important to be kind and caring to everyone than to worry about whether you were seen to be clean or unclean. He was trying to teach people that showing love to others is the most important thing, and it still is today. So Jesus thought it was way more important to be helping the injured man. So it was actually that Samaritan man who in fact showed the most love and kindness, wasn't it? Bit of a surprise. And I think Jesus thought it was a little bit silly that the Jewish people and the Samaritans didn't get on, because he wanted everyone to love each other. So I wonder what the main point of this story is. Was it my first thing, was it that the Jews and Samaritans didn't like each other very much? Is that the main point? It was a point, but it wasn't the main point. Was it that Jesus would have helped the injured man? Well, I think he probably would have done, but again, it's not the main point. The main point of this story was that Jesus was trying to tell everybody that actually love is the most important thing, and that being kind and caring to others is way more important than any of those Jewish rules. So I wonder how we can be more like Jesus and love our neighbours. Well, I've got some ideas here. And what I'd like you to do is to shout at the screen or give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down and tell me whether you think by doing this particular thing that I'm going to read out is showing that you're being a good neighbour or not. So first of all, I've got something written here and it says, sort out your toys and give some of your old ones away to charity or a friend who might like them. If you do that, are you being a good neighbour or not? What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Yeah, that would be being a good neighbour, wouldn't it? That'd be a really nice thing to do. What about this one here? Oh, it says tidy up your bedroom without waiting to be asked. Oh, that would be a really good neighbourly thing to do, wouldn't it? Really kind and caring, thinking about other people. Oh, let me find another one. What about this one? Move away from someone if they are crying because it's embarrassing. I'm sure I have done that in the past, but actually it's not a very kind and caring thing to do, is it? I wonder what Jesus would have done. He probably would have gone up to them and given them a hug, cuddle and said, "Oh, are you okay? Can I help you?" What about this? Ask if you can help someone at home. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Yeah, thumbs up, very definitely. What about this one? Hold the door for somebody. Is that being a good neighbour? Very much so, isn't it? Definitely. What about this one? Ask someone who doesn't have many friends if they want to join in with your game. Is that being a good neighbour? I think it is. Well done if you're getting these right. What about this one? Join in with your friends calling someone mean names, so saying mean names to somebody. Is that being a good neighbour? No, definitely not. And the last one, let your friend take the blame for something that you did at school so they get in trouble and you don't. Is that being a good neighbour? Definitely not. No. Wow, I think you're all very good at that game. Well, there is somebody who goes to St. Peter's who likes helping people, and his name is David, and he teaches people how to know if someone gets hurt. He tells people how to put on bandages and clean up cuts and things. And he's outside the church with his wife Beryl just now. Shall we find out what's going on?
Hello there, my name's David and this is my wife Beryl.
Hi.
We actually go to St. Peter's Church because we are actually Christians, and the reason we're Christians is because we like to follow the way that Jesus does things, and Jesus, as you know, is a person who does like to help people, and Beryl actually does a lot of helping. She helps. Where you help, Beryl?
I help at the food bank sometimes.
Right, okay. And yeah, I do one or two things as well. In fact, Beryl's going to do some cleaning in the church now. So my name's Dave. I used to be a paramedic and used to train, and I train people in learning how to save a life. And since I've been retired, we actually go into schools now, and in fact, we even teach grown-ups as well how to save lives. And so what we're going to do today is I'm just going to go and see if Beryl's okay, and we'll see, and then we'll see you a bit in a minute. Right. Beryl, where are you?
I'm down here.
What's happened?
I fell over. I tripped off.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh gosh. No, where's your hurt?
Well, I've hurt my arm, I think.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Oh, how are you feeling?
Oh, a bit wobbly, really.
Oh gosh, okay, right. What I'll do is I'll make you more comfortable if I can. One second. There you go.
Thank you.
You feel cold?
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Let's see if I can. Right. There we are. I was just telling children about sort of how I help people, and here we are. Help you now, aren't we? Can we sit you up a little bit? Okay.
Okay. Oh,
Dear.
okay.
Are you okay?
Shaking up, that's the trouble.
Are you? Oh, that's a nasty cut you've got there. Okay. What we're going to do, just put that there for a minute. All right.
Okay.
Okay. You okay? You feel warm enough?
Yeah.
You sure?
Okay.
I'm going to get a little first aid box.
Okay.
Now, must always put our gloves on when we're doing this. It's very important to make sure we don't get any blood on us. That's good. Right. There we go. Now, I've got a plaster here, but I think that's too big for a plaster, isn't it? I think we're going to have to put a proper bandage on that. Oh dear. Okay. You don't have to look at it if you don't want to.
Okay.
Okay. You just get a bandage out. Just undo the bandage. Right, and we're just going to very, very carefully open it up. And there's a little pad there. I'm just going to put that over the wound, okay?
Okay.
Must make sure I don't touch that pad.
Okay.
That's why I've got the gloves on. And I'm going to very, very carefully just wrap that round like that. That's good. You're right. Just keep it up in the air. That's it.
Okay.
Good. Very, very carefully. Roll it around like that. That's good. Super. Right. That's good. Try not to let it fall on the floor. Just gradually undo it like that. That's good. That's lovely. Super. Right. I'm just going to tie that off with a little knot. And there we are. Does that feel all right?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah,
How are you
nice
feeling
and
now?
Well, a little bit wobbly.
Are you? Oh dear.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to put that, because if you cut yourself there, I'm just going to put that, okay, a second, just with me. Just going to put your arm in that, in your, with this, hold it up, okay? That's good, okay. You're right. You okay? You sure? You don't look very well. Oh dear. Right, I think I'm going to have to lie you down. Right, wait a minute. Just move that out of the way. Let's see if I can support you. That's good. Oh. Oh. Right, okay, lie you down. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? You've got unconscious, haven't you? Oh dear. Right, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to turn you over. All right. Just going to turn you over, okay? Are you okay? No, nothing at all. Just going to put my coat underneath you so it'll be nice and warm when you come over. Okay. Right, you put that hand up there and take your glasses off. I know you can't talk to me, but it's very important. That's good. And bend this knee like that. And I'm going to bring you over. Support your head. Push on that leg. Put you right over. That's good. And put that hand down. Just relax that hand. Put your head back. That's good. Make sure. There we are. Where's your coat? I'm going to get your coat, I think, and keep you warm. Okay. Right, here's your coat and keep you warm. Can you hear me yet? Right. I think we might have to get some help, won't we? Okay. Anybody else? Any help? Right, okay, don't you worry. You're going to be all right. We'll look after you. Okay. Well done.
Oh dear, well, poor Beryl. Well, I've just had an update that she's actually okay now, so we don't need to worry about her. Thank goodness. But I wonder if you know what to do if someone fell over and how to put a bandage on them. Later on, why don't you have a try with the bandages that we put in your craft packs? And maybe you can try bandaging up your teddy bear like I did with Coco earlier when he fell out of his bed. Perhaps you could ask your grown-ups to help you if you needed to. So we've got a few crafts to show you just now that you might like to join in with at home. The first is a fun origami game to help you think about some of the kind things you could do to help other people. So over to Naomi, who's going to show us about this game.
Hello everybody. So what we're going to do is we're going to make one of these origami games. I think some of you may have made these before. So as you can see, we've got nice little coloured hearts on the outside. And then the next layer, we have some numbers. And then on the inside, we've got all sorts of things that you might do to be kind to somebody, just like we mentioned earlier on and in the story. So let's find out how we make one of these games, and then you can go and do it with your mum and dad, your brother, your sister, your friends. So in your craft pack, you should have a piece of paper. It might be white, it might be green. And we've got a rectangle. We first of all need to make it a square. So the easiest way to do that is to take one edge and to fold it up like that. Okay, and this bit will give you your square. So we just need to get rid of this bit here. So you fold it over, take some scissors. Don't forget to ask adult permission if you an adult help when you're using scissors. Sometimes they can be a bit nasty and we don't want to have to bandage up or plaster any fingers. So now we've got a nice square. The next thing we do is we take all four corners and we just fold it into the middle like this. You probably want to take a little bit more time over it. I'm just going to do it quickly to show you. So now we've got all four corners in that way. We want to turn it over. So you've got the side of nothing folded on, and you're now going to fold these corners into the middle. And that is all the origami folding you have to do. There we go, last fold. So then we've got bits folded here, And we've got bigger bits folded here. Now you'll notice on one side, the folds have the separated line in the middle. And on the other side, they're like flaps, if you can see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the flaps on the outside. Oh dear. Okay, like this. So then you put your fingers underneath the flaps, then you can use them like this. Let's turn the sound of that. Okay. Now we can go on to decorating it. You'll see on my ones I've got hearts on the outside in different colours. What are your favourite colours, I wonder? What might you like to decorate? So on the flaps, you can just put some different colours, some different hearts. I'll do a couple just to show you. So I've done green on one and blue on the other. That way, when we come to, what's happened to my game? When we come to fold it up again, you'll see that is on the outside. Okay. Now, on the inside, all of this inside bit, we can write numbers. Maybe, if you want to, you could write some kind words. I wonder what kind words you can think of. Maybe help. Or maybe give. You might give somebody something to be kind. So here we go. I've written some numbers and a couple of words on mine. And then underneath those, on these flaps, we can write some of those ideas that we came up with earlier and some others that you can think of ways we can be kind to people. What might you like to do? Let's have a little look. So, we can pick a colour. Let's pick red for the red heart down at the bottom. R-E-D. Oh, now we have some numbers. Let's pick number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, now what numbers have we got? Let's have a look. Let's look under number 5. We have a little look under 5. Oh, make your parents a drink. That's a nice thing to do, isn't it? I think my parents love it when I make them a drink. So make your parents a drink. There you go. You can play that game with lots of people all around, and you can put inside all the different things that you can think of to be kind to each other. All right, maybe kind to neighbours, your families, your friends, and see what you can come up with having fun with that game. All right, enjoy everybody.
Oh, thank you, Naomi. That sounds like a really fun game. I'm definitely going to try doing that one a bit later, I think. Oh, and now Betty has got another craft for us involving magnets. So over to you, Betty.
Yes. Hello. Wrinkles is going to sit and watch. Now, you should have in your pack one of these, which is actually a strip of magnet and a little bear and a piece of card. Now, the piece of card, I've made mine into, you can see, into a heart shape, and I've stuck the bear on the side. What we're going to do is to turn it into a fridge magnet or a magnet that you can put on metal to remind you of the things that you think you might do to help other people. How might you be a Samaritan? How might you be the good Samaritan, the helper? And the first thing is to make your shape to cut out. Now, I've cut a heart out because I feel that that's a good shape to show that we care. And to draw a heart, I'm just going to show you quickly. You need halfway between the two edges of the card, and you mark that, and then you draw around and down to meet halfway into the middle. And you do the same the other side, go around and down. And you should have a reasonable heart shape. Now, it doesn't matter too much if you get it a little bit wrong, because you can always cut that bit off, or you could use that for the back. So I'm going to cut that out now. I'm going to cut it around. And once I've done my round and about, I will have the heart shape. Now you can be thinking about who you might do something for while you're doing this. Would you do it for someone in your family? Or do you think there's somebody who lives around and about that you might need some kind of pick-me-up type help? Because it's not quite the same as people falling out of trees, or a good Samaritan on a person injured on the road. This is more like, what kind of things can I do to cheer people up when they're not feeling too good? How can I be a friend to someone? How can I be someone that does things that are friendly to others? So you've got your shape. Now, I stuck my bear onto the side of my heart. And I did that using a piece of sticky back plastic. I have a little hint how to do things with sticky back plastic, because it's awful trying to get the end off the sticky back plastic sometimes. So I just turn over the very end, so you can see it's down like that. And because that sticks to itself, you get a little lip there, which you can use to pull out, and it hasn't got any stick on it. So I'm going to put that onto the back of the bear, and then I'm going to very easily pull that off and stick it onto my heart shape. And there's the bear ready to help you help. Now, if you've got some other ideas for decorating your heart, by all means use those. It doesn't matter. But then on the heart, you're going to write something you might do to cheer someone up, something you might do to help someone, something that might make someone smile. How would you do that? I'm going to do write a postcard to someone. Now, I've left it there, write a postcard to someone, because in your pack you've also got something like that. Might not be exactly the same, but it's something like that. And we're going to cut that out carefully along the lines and think about who might like to have a postcard, just to know that you're thinking about them. Might be somebody who lives on their own, who is shielding, who is not able to get out. Might be someone who's a bit unhappy about something. Might be someone you haven't seen for a long while. Because if you want, you could actually put a stamp on there and post it. And you'll notice the other side is completely blank, because that's there for you to draw whatever picture you would like to cheer them up. Might be a picture of you doing something. Might be a picture of you and them. Might be a picture of something you think they might like. Maybe a vase of flowers. Maybe a car, if they're really into cars. And then you've got the space there to write your message. Now, I guess your message will change depending on who you're sending it to. So that's the postcard. But now back to my heart shape for the fridge, because there's one thing that will make it stick on the fridge and it won't at the moment. So you need to use your piece of magnetic tape. Now this is quite easy to peel the back off that, and then you just stick it onto the back. Now you may find, because this comes in a roll, that it's a bit bendy and it peels off again. So I put mine underneath something heavy so that it would, I can't just about see it, so that it would flatten it down. You can see here's one I made earlier where it's completely flattened down. There. So, and when you've done that, you can put it on your fridge, on anything metal, and it will remind you of what you're going to do to help other people. And every time you go past it, you can go, oh, yes, who else could I send a postcard to? Or what else could I do to help? Because there is room to write something else there if you want to. Okay? Let's hope that we get lots of people who are cheered up by the people in Messy Church. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Betty. That's a lovely reminder to have something like that on our fridges. And I can't wait to do my postcard. I've thought of somebody who would probably really enjoy having a little postcard, and she really likes cats. So I'm going to draw her maybe a picture of my kitten on the postcard that I sent her. That's lovely. Oh, and the final craft we've got is from Caroline, who's going to show us how to make a board game that you might all like to make and play. So over to Caroline. Oh, and Anna as well.
Demonstrated by Anna today. So in your pack, you should have 2 A3 sheets, one of which is a card and it's got the board game on it. And then the other one is the instructions. And at the bottom, you'll notice that there's some little bits of writing that you're going to need to cut out. So the very first thing we need to make the board game. And you start off by colouring in your board game.
This is one I did earlier.
And you can see Anna's coloured in beautifully all the little pictures. And she's also given hers a title up at the top. So you can choose whatever you want to call yours. It's up to you. The next thing you need to do is to cut out those little writing squares and stick them on. And Anna's just going to stick on her very last one. There we go. Now, they're a mix of mean things and nice things. So try and spread them out. Don't have them all mixed together, so all the nice ones together and all the mean ones together. Try and spread them out. And just check carefully, because when we were doing it, made a mistake. And if it's a mean thing, you have to go back some squares. If it's a nice thing, you go forward some squares. And we had a mean thing right at the very top, which asked us to go back more squares than we had left on the board. So you need to just double check and see how many squares you need behind or in front of you. So there's one little hint. Now, so Anna's done that. The other thing that you can do is to write on, have another go, and miss a turn. So write those in. Anna's also got another suggestion for you.
You could also do your own ones.
Mean or nice. That sounds like a good idea, Anna. And you are now just about ready to go. Don't forget when you're writing this to leave enough blank squares, because you need to have some where nothing happens, so it makes it more exciting when you do land on a square. This is a game for between 1 and 4 people, so you need some counters. You could use Tiddlywinks counters that you got from another game. You could use pennies or buttons, really doesn't matter, anything that you got from another game that you could use. And you need a die. Now, we've got a mathematical one. If you haven't got one, you could actually make one out of a bit of old cardboard, or you could even make yourself a spinner with a little match going through it and just put the numbers on and spin it round. That would be fine. Whatever, just a way of working out how many squares you're going to move. So you're now ready to play. So Anna, roll that die. She's rolled 2. 1, 2. So would you like to read what it says?
You offered to tidy up the toys at home without your grown-up asking you. Move forward 2 squares.
There we go. Now, the next person would then have a go, and the aim of the game is to get right to the very end the quickest. Obviously, if you keep landing on mean things, you're going to go back and won't get forward very quickly. And so the nicest person is going to get to the end first and win. So have fun, enjoy doing it. Bye.
Bye.
That is great, Anna and Caroline. Thank you for that. I think I'm going to have fun making up some mean scenarios and playing with my family to send them all the way back to the beginning again. Oh, now Betty is going to lead us in a time of singing. So do join in with the words if you can at home. And the first song is called I Want to Live in a Friendly World. So over to you, Betty.
I want to live in a friendly world, friendly world, friendly world. I want to live in a friendly world that's good to folks like me. If I run short of a bowl of rice and my next door neighbour's in, I want to know that they won't say no to the colour of my skin, or the church that I worship in, or the place from whence I came, or my great-grandfather's name. I want to live in a friendly world, a friendly world, a friendly world. I want to live in a friendly world that's good to folks like me.
Oh, thank you, Betty. That was lovely. And Wrinkles, of course, joining in. That was great. Oh, so our next song is When I Needed a Neighbour. And Betty's going to lead us in this one as well. Do join in again if you can. This is perhaps a bit more well-known, this one.
When I needed a neighbour, were you there? Were you there? When I needed a neighbour, were you there? And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter, were you there?
I was hungry and thirsty, were you there? Were you there? I was hungry and thirsty, were you there? And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter, were you there?
When I needed a shelter, were you there? Were you there? When I needed a shelter, were you there? And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter, were you there?
I was cold, I was lonely, were you there? Were you there? I was cold, I was lonely, were you there? And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter, will you there?
Wherever you travel, I'll be there, I'll be there. Wherever you travel, I'll be there. And the creed and the colour and the name won't matter, I'll be there.
Oh, that was wonderful singing. Thank you, Betty and Ian, and of course Wrinkles, the star of the show. Yeah. So we're now coming to the end of our session today together. So Kate is going to say a prayer for us. And after that, we can join in with the Lord's Prayer as well, straight after. Over to you, Kate, for our prayer.
Shall we pray? Mark, are you going to join in? Okay, let's put our hands together. Dear God, thank you for showing me today that you are like the Good Samaritan and are interested in us. You don't walk on by if we need help. Please help me to remember to be like a Good Samaritan to people who need my help, and help me to stop, listen, and care to show your love to everybody. Amen.
So this is our Lord's Prayer with our join in and let's pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For the kingdom, the power, and the glory are yours, now and forever. Amen.
Hello, I think we're now going to do the grace. So I'm going to stand Wrinkles up and he can show you the actions for it. So we're going to go, the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship, he's holding my hands, of the Holy Ghost be with us now forevermore. Amen. And clap your hands on the above.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for that, Wrinkles. Oh, now before we go, we wanted to say a huge happy birthday to two very important children in our church, and that is Anna and William. So Anna, it's her birthday today, which is amazing, and William, yours was last Thursday. So we're going to try something a little bit special, and we're going to try and sing you happy birthday live. So let's see how we go.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, William and Anna.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Oh, that was wonderful. Good singing. Oh, I hope you have had a lovely week and yeah, good birthday today, Anna. And of course, happy birthday to anyone else who is watching that we've missed. And we'd just like to say goodbye. So goodbye from all of us and all of our lovely bears. Hope you've had a nice time today. And don't forget, next month, our Messy Church session is on Monday, the 15th of February. So do get your grown-ups to put it into their diaries. But lovely to have seen you all today. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Day dreary, dreary,